guys, welcome. Today is the first episode of my Café con Dulce video series that I'll be having here on my main YouTube channel. So to kick it off, I do want to mention that I have a giveaway going on. I created this color with Smashbox and I named it Smoochie. I'm actually wearing it on the lips and it's a beautiful shade of like a mauve pink lip gloss. So it's not a liquid lipstick. There is limited quantity, so if you guys want to get your hands on it, it's just a giveaway. These are not up for sale, and you can go to my website. I will have a link to it down below, also in the description box, if you guys want to have one of these mailed out to you guys. So Smashbox is going to be the one to send it out for you guys, but I want to thank Smashbox for creating this custom color for me and for making this giveaway happen for you guys. So thank you guys so much, and I hope you guys like Smoochie. I named it Smoochie because I just like the way that sounds, Smoochie. Okay, something a lot of people are asking is the baby stuff, and I don't want to bore you guys with the baby stuff, but I do want to tell you guys a little story that just happened recently. So I got this app called Glow, and it tells you, it's basically just an app to help you find out which days you're ovulating. So I tried it for the first time, guys, and this was like the first official time that Jesse and I are actually like trying on a specific date. Like, it's on the calendar, today I'm ovulating, today we have to try type of thing. And we've never done it like that before. Never ever, guys. And you would think that after 6 years, yes, I would be trying it that way, but I always had it in my mind that if I wanted to get pregnant, I could get pregnant. It just hasn't happened. I don't know why. And what ended up happening was that this app gave me, you input like the day that you start your period, and then a certain amount of days later, that's when you're like at your highest ovulation peak. And it gave me at the highest day 32% chance of getting pregnant. We were really, really excited because we thought, you know what, we did it on the days like that I'm the most fertile, so to speak, and I'm really excited about this. We were both really excited. And then the day that I was supposed to get my period, I didn't get it, and I was late 7 days, guys. I was like tripping out. I think in my mind, I was just making it up in my mind also, which is something that I learned. Girl, don't do that, because what ended up happening was that Jesse and I were both really disappointed. My day was actually ruined the day that I got my period. And that has never happened to me before, because I always thought, you know, if I get pregnant, that's awesome. If I don't, God knows why. But this time we actually tried, and we had really high expectations of like, this is going to be the day that, this is going to be the actual time that I don't get my period and then I'm pregnant. But we couldn't help but be like, it's been 7 days, babe. I haven't got my period. Oh my gosh, I think it happened. And so it didn't. And I got my period, and we're going to try again for another 2 months. And if it doesn't happen, we are going to go in to get some professional help. I didn't want to get IVF, guys, because I have a really close friend of mine, and she's gone through that experience a couple of times, and it was really, really hard on her. And from other stories that I've heard in the past, it's also really hard. You know, not only physically, it's painful, and it's physically, and it's also a huge financial burden that you have to take on. But if you want to have kids, you know, you'll do anything. But the thing that worries me the most is that mentally, it's something that it's going to be really taxing on my heart and on my mind, and I don't want to spiral into depression or anything like that. Which, by the way, oh my gosh, guys, it's so crazy. I've been seeing the number 111 or 101, like ones and zeros. I see them all the time, and I don't know what that means. I searched it, and according to like Doreen Virtue, I think that's her name. Yeah, Doreen Virtue. She's very spiritual, and she believes in angels, and I actually believe in angels too. I pray to angels since I was a little girl, and it just says that you're at your highest point of manifesting things. I don't know if it's just if it's true or not, but whenever I see 111 or a 1 and a 0, that's like a time for me to refocus my thoughts. And if I'm having a bad thought, focus it on a positive one and send out like all the positive. So I will literally, besides right now because I'm filming, I will sit down and have like just a visual of all of the good things that I want my family to experience or to go through, and my sisters and some of my friends, and then myself. I'll just like visualize it. So it's a really cool little thing that happens, and yeah, that's what I've made it up to be in my mind, and it's pretty awesome. So that's question number 1. So someone actually asked me, how do I overcome being so short? I don't see it as something that I need to overcome. I actually really love being petite. And now in my later 20s, I have really grown to start to love me exactly for who I am. And I thought this was such a really great question, because this is something that I actually tweeted last week, that the most annoying thing that you can tell or say to a short person is, oh my gosh, you are so short. Like, if we didn't know that we were short, like if it's news to us, thank you for telling me. I had no idea. Let me point out an obvious thing in you too and see how you like it. It's basically that. I find it to be very rude, but only when it's done, when someone says it a certain way, because I know a lot of you guys have told me, like, the first thing that people say when they meet me is, oh my gosh, you're so short. And I don't get offended over that, because you guys don't know that I'm short. You guys are probably expecting me to be average, or I don't know, taller maybe, if you've never met me. And then when you see me, I am 4'9". I'm petite. So you are like, whoa, wait, I thought you were gonna be taller. That's cool. That's crazy. So I don't get offended over that at all. But it did make me feel a certain way, and I'll tell you guys the story. One time, I went on a location to shoot a commercial, and someone who worked for the company actually made a really big deal. Like, the first time that she saw me, I was actually getting my makeup done, and she went into the other room next door because it was in a trailer, and I went to see the stylist because she was with the stylist, and I just walk in, and she's literally like exaggerating. She's like, oh my gosh, I can't believe it. You're so short. Oh my gosh, I thought you were gonna be taller. Like, she was looking at me like I was some sort of freak. And I was like, even the stylist was like, you're telling her like she doesn't know, like, what's going on with you? And you know what I did? I did the same thing. I'm like, oh my gosh, you're so average. Like, I literally went like that because she made a big deal of pointing out the obvious. I'm gonna point out the obvious too. And then she was kind of like, you're so beautiful. I was like, is it not common sense that that's rude? You wouldn't go and tell someone if they're underweight or if they're overweight, right? So you shouldn't point out the obvious in people. Like, that is just rude. I find it to be really rude. Honestly, guys, I think being short has been such an advantage to me because I feel like I have to fight harder. And this is just in my head, but I want to prove, especially when I was in the army, I worked with a lot of guys who were really tall and women who were really tall as well. I've never worked with anybody who was as little as me. And I always like pushed through all of my discomfort in like ruck marches or anything that we were doing that was really physically struggling. I never let the guys carry my stuff. I always wanted to do everything for myself because I didn't want them to think that because I'm a woman and because I'm short that it's gonna hold me back. But yeah, I love being little. I can go in through little spots. I can weave, and if I'm in a crowded situation, trust me, I will get through. Even though people try to push me, and I'm like, don't even try to push me, because that's also like a thing that I feel like I have. Like, I'm pretty feisty when it comes to my height, because do not get it twisted. Just because I'm little does not mean that I'm gonna let you push me around, because I put up with so much of pushing around and people talking to me a certain way for so long until I learned to set boundaries. So setting boundaries is so important with your friends, your family, your coworkers, anybody in your life. You really have to set boundaries with them because they will cross them. They're not mind readers. They're not gonna guess what you want. You have to verbally say it out loud and tell them, this is what I expect. Do not cross this boundary. Which is why I'm always like, I don't feel short. Why do people say that I'm so short? I don't feel like I'm little. Listen, if you don't like that you're little, it's not gonna change. You know, you're not gonna grow taller. That's just impossible. Like, there is nothing you can do besides break your bones in your knees and maybe grow a few inches, and then you're gonna have like scars and it's gonna be really painful. So you have to just really learn to love who you are. That's such a big thing to me, especially now, because I struggled with my self-esteem, my confidence, and really loving who I am for a really long time, and I hated myself. And now I look back and I'm like, I wasted so many years just hating who I am, but this is who I am. And the beautiful thing about this world that I find is that we are all so different. That is the most beautiful thing. We have so many different cultures, so many backgrounds, accents, languages, customs, and that's what makes this world beautiful. Imagine how boring it would be if we all looked the same, if we all believed the same thing. How boring would that be? And that's never going to happen either. So we should just learn to accept each other for exactly who we are, and also try not to be so judgmental of others, because I know it comes within human nature, to look at someone and to automatically start judging them. And I can speak from experience, because I have looked at people before, or certain situations, and have an opinion. You can have your opinion on it, but there is a difference between that and being judgmental, because I feel like when you're judging someone, you are judging them from a higher seat, like you are above them, like you are better, and what you have to say is a lot better than what they're going through. You don't know the person's situation. You will never know their life. Even if it's a family member and it's your sister or your mom or whatever, and you feel like you know them, you're not them. You haven't walked in their shoes. You don't know what goes on through their mind. So you have no right to judge a person. If you feel like judging, look in a mirror and judge yourself. But don't judge other people based on how they live, how they look, their skin color, what they do. No, we have no right to do that. Absolutely no right to do that. So at what age did I move out from my parents' house, and how was my experience? So I actually moved out at the age of 18. I was actually the first out of the 4 to leave the nest. And oh man, if I can go back in time, I mean, I wouldn't change anything, but moved out when I was 18 because I joined the army. I was actually going through a really, really bad breakup with this whole guy, and I was just very insecure with myself, like completely insecure, because now looking back, I'm like, girl, why? If I could just go back and just, man, I'm gonna do this video, Dear 16-year-old me. That's coming up. That's something I want to do, because I have so much advice that I would give myself, my younger self. But yeah, so this guy basically, you know, we didn't have a good relationship. I thought I was in love. Girl, no, I was not in love. I don't know what that was. I just felt like what I had with that guy was more like, I just need someone to love me. Outside, even though my parents and my sisters loved me, I was still like, no, not family love. I need someone else to tell me my worth. So that was a whole different situation. Anyways, so I finally kind of had enough. I made really bad choices in high school, and I wish that I would have been more focused in school. I wished I would have done great in school and gotten good grades and went straight to a 4-year university, because that was always my dream of mine, to go to UCSB or UCLA. Those were my top 2 schools, and I hope that in my lifetime I still can make one of those dreams a reality, because I want to go back to school. School is like, you can't beat an education. No matter what you do, you can't beat an education. So, yeah, so I barely graduated from high school, and I was praying to a saint. I was praying to San Pedro the whole senior year. I was like, please, Señor San Pedro, please help me. Please help me graduate. And I barely graduated by a hair. So I was glad I got my degree, but I was like, okay, now what do I do now with my life? I'm 18. I was trying to go to community college, but I could not afford the classes. And then this boy had just cheated on me for the billionth time, and I was super heartbroken. I had disappointed my parents for making really bad choices as a teenager. And I was just not happy. I was super depressed. I was super heartbroken. I was super suicidal. I was just like, my life was like, I felt like I had just landed rock bottom with my life. And this is just my life barely starting out, right? And also when you're that age, you feel like life is over for you. Like really looking back now, over 10 years later, I'm like, wow, there's so much more to life than that. You know, I'm so glad so glad that I did not leave this planet, because every time something amazing happens to me, I'm like, thank you, God. Thank you for not allowing me to leave this planet, because there were so many days that I would pray to God, like, just please take me. I'm so fed up. I'm tired and this and that. But anyways, so I decided, like, on a desperate need to just change my life, I decided to join the army. And I was looking at this as just a ticket out of my town, my problems, just a ticket to a whole new life. And it was the best thing that happened to me, honestly. Even though the army wasn't for me, and it served its purpose in my life, and I learned a lot, and I met some great people, and I learned a lot of really valuable life lessons. The military, it was just not for me. But it did help me change my life, because I got a lot of discipline, and I started to appreciate my parents, because I feel like we go through life, not all of us, but I'm going to speak for myself. I went through life as a teenager, disappointing my parents all the time in hopes to please all the girls that were just backstabbing me and talking mess about me all the time, and not really my friends, and obviously people that did not love me. I would do so much to keep them happy, and I wouldn't try to make my dad or my mom or my sisters happy. So in the army, and they kind of like shaped me right away. Yeah, I was like straightened out right away, because I didn't have my family anymore. I left the nest. My mom was really, really sad, super sad that I left, especially to the army, especially getting deployed. She was super sad, and it cost a lot of things went on with my family because of my decision to leave the house at that age. Because just imagine, we're this unit my whole life. My dad has always been this kind of dad. He would actually refer to himself as Jaime and y sus 5 estrellas. So Jaime y sus 5 estrellas. So his 4 daughters and my mom. So my dad's name, Jaime, and his 5 stars. So he was super proud of that. And every single Sunday, we went out to church. I grew up Catholic, so we went to church every Sunday. And then after church, we would go eat at Topper's Pizza, which is this awesome pizza joint in Oxnard. And then we would go shopping at the grocery store. And then if it was a really good payday for my dad, he would give us $5 to go to the dollar store and have the time of our lives. Like, this was the best time ever, because we would go to the dollar store, and with $5, you can buy 5 things. Even when he would give us $1 as our weekly allowance, that was like, oh, wow, like we get $1. That's so awesome. You know, so yeah, we were always very united, and everywhere we went, even when I didn't want to go to my uncle's house as a young girl, like, because it was so boring, my dad would always take us. We always went everywhere together as a family. I was never allowed to like spend the night at my friend's house or go out with my friend here. My dad never let us do anything. And now looking back, this is why we as a family, that's why we're so close. Now as an adult, all of us sisters and my mom and my dad, we always want to get together. We have to see each other every Sunday, or at least once a week. And now that's what I am teaching Isaac. So these life lessons, when you don't agree with them as a young child, because you don't want to be hanging out with your parents, right? But now as an adult, I'm like, wow, like now me as a mom, I want to be with my family the whole time. I want us to go everywhere together and be united. So it really helped out. So yeah, me leaving the nest, the first one to leave the house, it really kind of like shifted the dynamic tremendously. And it was kind of like the first moment that my parents were like, our kids are growing up and they're leaving the nest, you know? So I am gonna cut the video down right here because I have just talked so long. Hopefully you guys are interested, and I hope you guys enjoyed this. I'm really excited about this new series, Café con Dulce. I'm so excited about this. So I hope you guys have a beautiful day ahead, and I will talk to you guys on my next one. Can't wait to talk to you guys actually in the comment section, because that's where I love to be after the video. So thank you for watching, and I will see you guys on my next one.